stop.
G'day everyone, it is the Captain. Welcome back to the channel. A big thank you, of course, to each and every one of you that like and subscribe to these videos and you share them around the world with all of your buddies, all of your pals, and all of your mates. And as the voice of the voiceless, let me tell you what's going on. How is everyone today? I hope you're doing very, very well. How is it all happening in your neck of the woods? As I say when I do my stuff like this, how's your tits and dicks? Give us a score out of 50 and let's get down and dirty with one another. As I say good day to a few of you that are hanging around, not only in the chat but on replay as well. Who is here this evening? Everyone's turned up. Motorcycle Michael is here with us. Warrior Sentry is here. Jason is here. Luke Trishan is here. Lamont is here. Kimberly is here. Our mate Frank is here. Who else is floating around? Let me keep scrolling. We've got Trouble, which means that Danger and Brave are probably floating around as well. That is bloody good. Beauty is listening, but he's at work, so he can't chat as much. Who else? Mother! Jeez, that was quick. Who else is floating around? I'm trying to find everyone. Crystal is here. Lindsay is here. I'm trying to find everyone. Primi is here as well. Who else is here? Every bugger in their dog is turning up. That's good to know. There's a bit of a lick as well. Everyone is turning up. And if I've missed you, I don't mean to. I'm just trying to find everyone's name. Lamont, did I mention Lamont? He's here as well. People like Wednesday, Mippet, Alan, Jean, Julius, Harry, Safari, Emanuela, all you wonderful people that watch us on replay as well. Always awesome to have each and every one of you with us. Jim, Month Jim's Beautiful, James Weston, the Kendall. Hey, sexy lady. Now, yes. Nice. Yesterday here on the channel, we had a serious look on the tragedy that was the Port Arthur Massacre. Quick recap for those that missed it. Probably a good idea to go and watch it because a lot of information in there is going to be relevant here this evening. So, for those that are just joining us for like a bit of a recap, primarily in 1996, 28th of April, a monster by the name of Martin Bryant decided that today was the day that he was going to take as many lives as he could, starting off at the Seascape Bed and Breakfast before making his way, where he killed 2 people there, before making his way to the historical site Port Arthur, before entering a little cafe there, murdering 20 there, and then continuing his killing spree as he left, and then taking 2 people. He pulled over, held a gunpoint a BMW, killing 2 of the 3 occupants. It's believed that he killed the 3rd in the vehicle as well before going to Seascape yet again, where he held himself at bay for 17 hours before burning the place to the ground, resulting in, fire injuries on himself, suck shit, and then surrendering to police. He's now serving 35 consecutive life sentences, including another 1,642 life sentences on top of that as well. Forever changing the landscape of not only Australia's gun laws, but sort of setting a precedent on the most people murdered in a shooting spree, a record that stayed into place until 2011, when a Norwegian man killed 67 by gunshot, 8 by bomb, and 2 by indirect fire. And then after that one was, of course, the Pulse nightclub shooting. But until then, he held the record. So that is that in a nutshell. That is what took place. That is the situation. Now, a lot of people that are watching us live right now watched the previous show and took in all the information that we saw, the news clippings, the whole story as it played out. The other thing that we're going to do now is look on the other side of the coin at some of the conspiracies that have generated itself over the course of the last 30 years. Now, Conspiracies are nothing new. These things have been plaguing, what's the word I'm thinking of here? Tragedies, ever since tragedies were a thing. So whenever anything happened, there was always a conspiracy to follow it. Going right back to the Marine marksman, when he climbed above the campus clock tower, I believe in Texas, where he was the first official, I guess, in brackets, shooting spree killer in American history, especially. And immediately there came things and conspiracies amongst that. And then, of course, the JFK assassinations and the 9/11 and all this sort of stuff. There's always been conspiracies behind it. Sandy Hook massacre, any form of massacre, there's always some fuckwit standing around with his thumb in his ass that goes, oh, I fucking reckon this happened. And then he tells 10 people, those 10 people tell 10 other retards, and before you know it, everyone's taking the special school bus, and then they're all fucking drooling on one another's cocks trying to figure out exactly what took place. And that's pretty much how conspiracies get underway. Now, out of all conspiracies, maybe between 10 and, let's say 12% turn out to have some kind of factual reasoning behind it. Sometimes whistleblowers come out. Sometimes there is evidence to support another look from a different perspective. Never going to deny that. But tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a look at some of the conspiracies that have formulated from the Port Arthur Massacre, predominantly shared by like-minded, brain-dead fucking zombies that last time they got an erection was when they touched an electric fence. So we're going to look at some of them. We're going to look at a YouTube channel called The Wasp files. And as we remember from the Port Arthur thing, that was one of the statements that Martin Bright asked about. There's not many WASPs around today, but plenty of Japs. And of course, white Anglo-Saxon, whatever it was, Protestant something or other, right? That's what it stood for. I can't remember off the top of my head, but pretty much it's that, white Anglo-Saxon Protestants. Now, let me just take a breath. Right, so one thing people know about me, and that is when the captain is in full captain mode, the gloves come off, the insults come out, and I'll tell you exactly how I really feel. Tonight, we are 115% going Old Testament on this bullshit and seeing if there's any actual facts into this. Let's see how many we can actually crack at the top of the hour, if that makes sense as well. And let's see if there is any truth to any of this. And I guarantee you, there's probably not. So what do you reckon? Are you a bit excited by this? Are you a little bit excited that tonight is going to be old school? And if you have an insult that you want to throw in, don't be frightened to do so. Because the more oxygen we give these thieves, the longer these conspiracies goes. But if we can cut it off at the knees, then life's pretty good. So that's what we're going to do. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple. That's how it works. So let's cross over to this. Now, the first video that we're going to look at is from the WASP files over there on YouTube as well. An Australian bloke who I think he must have done his journalism degree whilst breastfeeding on his father's cock at some stage, because his head is so full of semen that he can't think straight. I believe he even, when we get to look at him, might have copped a shot to the eye at some stage. And I don't mean a bullet, I just mean some fucking semen spray right into one of the retinas. And it's sort of fucked up his vision from that. Either that or he's got Bell palsy. One of the two. Let's find out together. You tell me. Right, so we'll pause it there. You wait till you see this bloke. Fuck me. Seen better hair, seen better faces on a fucking squished wombat. Crazy as shit. All right. So, fingers crossed we don't get any kind of copywriting tonight, but if for whatever reason the stream gets interrupted, just hang around because we will come back and we'll sort it out as we keep going along. Right. So, I keep losing all my stuff. We're going to go there. Here. Where you go? Oh, yeah, Luna Kitty hasn't turned up yet, has she? I haven't seen Luna Kitty yet. She might turn up soon, hopefully. Yeah, she might. Yeah, she was. Yeah, she might be still sleeping. It's a bit early US time, isn't it? Right. We all excited for this one? Have we all packed a snack? This was the other thing. Pack a snack, stay hydrated, because things are going to get fucking sticky. Hello to James Weston just turning up. Have a look at this silver fox on your screen. You tell me that you don't want to shoot him under a street light. Have a look at him. This is what happens when you allow cousins not only to fuck, but to microwave their young. Have a look at this fucking thing. All right, let's see what he has to say about himself. I guarantee you that it's going to be informative.
Welcome to the WASP files. Some of
Open
this
your eyes.
material may be distressing and viewer discretion is advised.
Oh, thanks for the warning, fuckface.
There are a ton of unresolved questions and issues surrounding this crime.
Oh, is there? There's tons of them, is there? Because I'm pretty sure we all kind of watched it and it was pretty much what I believe is referred to in the law game as a fucking slam dunk, right? What questions? Please, sorry, I interrupted you, pastor that's been shipped from church to church to church because of what he did to the kids. Keep telling us.
This was a major event in Australian history, and I can't stress that strongly enough. At the time, this was the biggest mass shooting by a lone gunman in the world. And rather than happen in America, it happened in a sleepy little part of Australia on a sunny Sunday afternoon in Tasmania at a tourist spot. So,
Fucking what a great recap, mate. Job well done.
With events, generally speaking, they're explored in great detail, and if there's legal cases, they're brought before the courts, the evidence is submitted, witnesses are called forth, and there is a thorough examination of the event, which is designed to determine the guilt of any guilty parties.
Oh my God, you've just described the justice system. Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Well done, mate. Good job. Tell me, can you tell me what noise a cow makes? Because dead set, you're giving us first grade knowledge right about now, and I want to know what colour a duck is before I make it into year one. Fuck me drunk. Now, I'm going to let you know a little secret. That's what happens if someone pleads not guilty. Now, if someone like Martin Bryant did and pleads guilty, that shit goes away. And the judge just goes, well, you're guilty. There's no reason to call anyone. There's no reason to fucking waste 7 months of people's lives and make everyone relive the day when he's confessed to the crime and pleaded guilty. Therefore, we can just jump through all of those hoops and go right back to just giving him a sentence. You forgot to mention that part. Jason's here, everyone.
And to investigate what went on, why it happened, and then to put it to rest. And that didn't happen with Port Arthur.
Because he pled guilty, dickhead.
The salient issues with Port Arthur are that firstly, as I stated, this was...
Stop reading from your notes and look directly to camera, mate. Fuck, buy yourself a fucking... Get the app. Get one of those, what are they called? The fucking cue card apps or whatever it's called. You know, the old auto cue. Right? It's hard to keep track on you anyway when one of your own eyes doesn't want to be part of your face.
One of the biggest mass killings by lone gunmen in the world at the time.
You mentioned that.
And we did not have a coronial inquest.
Why did we need one? And by the way, we'll get into this. I found a way to fucking debunk all of his bullshit.
Now, by state law, when any foreigners die on Australian soil...
Wrong, 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 wrong. That's not what a coronial inquest is for. It is in case the person is not identified, suspicion behind the death, or circumstances outside the normal control. They're the three primary reasons for a coronial inquest. If they've identified who the person is and know how they died, guess what the coroner doesn't need to do? A coronial inquest, fuckface.
Or if people die in a fire or die by violent death, all of which...
Wrong.
...happened at Port Arthur. State law decrees that there must be a coronial inquest.
Wrong.
Our Prime Minister at the time, John Howard...
You know what? Let's prove you wrong before we continue, shall we? Because fuck you and everything you stand for. Let's have a bit of a look. Coronial inquest reasons. Let's have a look, shall we? Let's go into the coronial inquest courts of Tasmania, shall we? Let's have a bit of a look at that. Okay, let's bring it up, shall we? Woo, give him a lick. Make sure you wash your fingers, Lindsay. God knows what you'll catch from this guy that I guaranteed's jerked off to the smell of sulphur. Right, here we go. This is from the Tasmanian Magistrates Court. This is the state to which the Port Arthur massacre took place. When is an inquest held into a death? Mandatory investigations provisions. The body is in Tasmania. It appears that the coroner that the death or cause of death occurred in Tasmania, or the deceased originated or resided in Tasmania at the time of death. And one of the followings need to apply. Suspects homicide. There's no suspicion there. We know it was a homicide. The deceased was immediately, before death, a person in the care of a person held in custody. No, can't see that one happening. The identity of the deceased is not known. The deceased died whilst escaping or attempting to escape from a prison detention centre, secure mental health facility, police custody, and the custody of a person person who had custody under an order of the court for the purposes of taking that person to or from court. The death has occurred in the process of a police officer, correctional officer, mental health officer, or a prescribed person within the means of Section 31 of the Criminal Justice Mentally Impaired Act of 1999, attempting to detain a person. If the deceased died or as a result of an accident injury that occurred at his or her workplace, and the coroner is not satisfied that the death was due to natural causes, the death occurred in such a place. The death occurred in such a place or in such circumstances that required under any other act. The Attorney General has said so, or the Chief Magistrate says so. Show me, mate, where it says a fucking foreigner who died in a fire. Oh, here we go. Held into fire or explosion. The coroner, who has the jurisdiction to hold an inquest into a fire or explosion, makes a decision not to hold an inquest after being requested to do so by a person. The coroner must record the decision in writing, notify the person that made the request that of their decision, so on and so forth. There you go. Guess what? It's not fucking there. It's not even remotely there. Just so you know, just in case you're wondering, I don't know, maybe do a little bit of fucking research before you start flapping that ball cleaner that you call a mouth, you little cock holster. Maybe you could, I don't know, Google something. No, but your mate Jerry down at the pub, well, he fucking knows what's up. Yeah, he once saw an episode of Law and Order, and now he's a real whiz on everything to do with the Port Arthur Massacre. Yeah, fuckhead, we all know how it works. Hey, Lisa's here, everyone. All right, let's get back to no nuts, no friends.
Quashed the inquest.
Ranger's here, everyone.
He overstepped his jurisdiction, and as a result, we didn't have a coronial inquest into this major crime.
No, we didn't have one because the coroner deemed it not necessary. Not because John Howard, the Prime Minister at the time, made a phone call going, hey, bruv, listen up. It's old Johnny H here in Parliament, and I was just kicking it with the boys, and all of us have decided to cover this shit up as much as we can. I know that it's a really hot topic right now, and every fucker in the world knows that it's happened, but I think maybe we can cover this shit up because we want to do some stuff that's a little bit dodge and we don't want anyone to know about it. So if you could not do an investigation into any of the deaths, that'd be super duper. You know what? I'll chuck a certificate of appreciation your way. Yeah. See you at poker next week. I don't think that was a phone call that ever took place. I could be wrong.
In Australian history. The coroner at the time, the state coroner in Tasmania, Ian Madison, commenced a coronial inquest.
Wrong.
But he ceased that inquest, and a letter that he wrote stated that he could not continue to do so because his findings may be in contradiction with those of the Supreme Court of Tasmania.
I'm so glad that you put that photo up because I found that piece of paper and we'll have a bit of a look at it, shall we?
So that says that basically he didn't wish to continue a coronial inquest because there was a possibility that his findings may contradict those of the Supreme Court, which is...
Because there was no reason to hold a coronial inquest. That's what he was getting at.
Is an odd statement to make. As a result, we did not have a coronial inquest, which by...
I think you just like the word coronial. I reckon you just got a bit of a hard-on for fucking misinformation and letters from the government. You know what? There's forms of fucking dumb dickheads on the world. And you are up there with frauditors and sovereign citizens, buddy. All right, but even then, sovereign citizens kind of print out paper. You didn't even do that part.
A law we should have. As a result of that, there was no in-depth, thorough public examination of the event.
Because it didn't need to be one because we all fucking witnessed it. 200 people were interviewed. There was the other thing. What was it again? There was something else that happened. What was that important thing? If only I could remember. Oh, yeah, he confessed to it.
To find out the causes, the motives, what happened, why, who was involved, and the...
One guy was involved. One. Plus a whole bunch of people that kind of were, I don't know, really committed to that dying thing that they tried to get him to do.
It comes. The second aspect is that we didn't have an open trial.
We didn't need
The
one.
reasons for that are that the perpetrator, Martin Bryant, who was convicted
that right,
and
at
sentenced as a result of the crime,
You got his name
pled
right.
guilty.
Correct.
So once you plead guilty
That should be the end of this fucking video, mate. He pled guilty. Thanks for joining me. Good night.
in a criminal trial, they don't have to present evidence, so it's case closed.
Yeah,
Throw him in jail,
exactly.
lock him up.
That's how it fucking works, mate. If you got caught, and I mean caught because we know that you do, but let's say the day comes that you get caught fucking a sheep, and we all know that you fuck sheep. All of us know that. Especially, you've got a bit of, what's the word I'm thinking of? You got a bit of necromancy when it comes to farm animals. You know, it's just a slight case of necromancy when it comes to farm animals. That means that you fuck them when they're dead. We all know that. But one day, you are going to get caught. And the police are going to go, how do you plead? Because we've got a lot of evidence here, including your dick inside a deceased sheep. So what do you want to do? And you go, fuck it, I may as well plead guilty. Guess what happens? There's no fucking trial. There's no anything else. Found guilty, sentenced to whatever the punishment might be. You might even have to stay 200 feet from any deceased animal for the rest of your life. But that's the risk we're all willing to take.
up and throw away the key, which is what occurred.
And they didn't throw away the key because he gets in and out of his cell. You know, he's just not allowed out the front doors.
The only issue with that is
And if they threw away the key, then the guards can't leave the front door either. Just so you know.
that as a result of that, the vast ton of evidence that was collected about the Port Arthur massacre, and the Tasmanian police did conduct an intensive task force to examine all aspects of the crime.
Up until the guy pled guilty. Yep, right, continue.
So that includes the forensics, the ballistics, witness statements.
Correct.
All of that, a lot of that did not have to be tendered in court. There was...
Oh, you screw lambs and calves. No, potty calves at least are really good at giving head. Don't give him that credit.
a comprehensive interview with Martin Bryant that was read out at a pre-trial hearing, 65 pages of which were redacted.
Wrong. You're going to show a little bit of paper here. I get it. I found you a bit of paper that was written by some bullfuck knucklehead that decided to write a book, and you just taken the fucking photocopy of that paragraph and didn't include any of the other before and after information. I could go on fucking Microsoft Word right now and write in, Your Honour, the guy that from the Wasp Files enjoys necrophilia with farm animals. But then I'll write in, redacted is the pictures of him fucking said deceased animal. I could write it and I could put it on this video. Oh, geez, if only I had the forward thought to have done that. I'll just say it verbally.
The material in the unredacted form, which I'll provide as evidence.
Yeah, and I've read through, in brackets, your evidence, because I personally last night read the entire 175 pages of court transcript.
Question
It's amazing what happens when you fucking just read, isn't it, eh?
the propriety of that case. So,
How am I doing, by the way? Have I gone old school enough, or should I kick it up a gear?
just to summarise, we didn't have a coronial inquest. There was no
Didn't need
open
one.
trial.
Didn't need
so
one.
a lot of witnesses
Didn't need
and
to
a
come.
lot of people who had differences of what they experienced
Didn't have to be
at
involved,
Port Arthur were never called to give
because I didn't need to be.
evidence in a court of law.
That's right. That's how
Vital
that's how laws work.
ballistic evidence, DNA, fingerprints
Was all taken at the scene and currently on file. Yep, continue.
were also not tendered, as were the records for the historical origins of the firearms that were used.
The historical, look at you sounding fancy. You mean when he went down the street and goes, can I buy this gun? And the guy goes, yeah, I suppose you can, even though he wasn't licensed to do so. You mean that one where his lawyer wrote a very lovely letter to said gun shop and said, hey, did you sell some guns to this guy? Because you said that you didn't, but just so you know, if you did, then we're gonna use that as some evidence. You talking about that letter? The one that you provided? You talking about that one? Because I have it. You know how I have it? I'll tell you how I have it. I'll tell you how I have that letter. Because you supplied it in a fucking Dropbox, you big dopey fuck. All of your bullshit wording comes from the documents that you provided in your own publicly accessible Dropbox. So guess what I did last night? Read up on some shit. Isn't it funny how people can interpret things differently? Like you interpret it the way that a fucking mental patient does, and I interpret it the way that a normal person would.
In the crime, amongst a ton of other material that never saw the light of day. So all that did was leave a vast amount of...
It did see the light of day because it was all evidence in the case building up to the time that he said, I plead guilty. Because even his own lawyer went, hey, you know how you said on tape that you did the crime? Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to get you off on this. You know how you're on tape fucking shooting people? That's pretty strong evidence to state that you did it. So, I don't know. Maybe we should just, fucking plead guilty to this one.
Of unresolved questions and issues, witness statements that didn't add up, people that had didn't...
I'm going to give you a little rundown on perspective. Hey, look at that. Owen's here. Here's a little bit of perspective for you. Right. Now, let's take even the basic of perspection, right? Two people are sitting in a room. Let's say they're work colleagues. Their boss comes in, okay? Their boss comes in and says to person one, hey, person one, you need to improve yourself a little bit because you're slacking just a small bit in this area of your employment. So if you could lift your game just slightly, that would be great. Okay, have a good day. They leave. Person two would have heard that almost word for word of how it took place. Person one, the person that was spoken to, might have taken that as, listen here, fucking dickhead, you don't know how to do your job, you're completely lazy, stop fucking my wife, and stop putting your dick inside the coffee cups. That's what person one may have heard. That's called perspective. Everyone has a different one. Now let's throw it into a tragedy of some kind. Right? Let's use your sheep fucking abilities as an example here. Right? All of us in the nightcap are wandering through the field because we're here to take in the wildlife. We stumble across Meet Joe Dumbfuck fucking a dead animal, and all of us immediately go, oh my God, this guy's fucking a dead animal. Now let's say 20 of us. Now out of the 20 of us, 5 of us might remember what colour underpants you were wearing. All of us will remember that you had your dick inside an animal. Only few of us will remember if that animal was alive or dead. Only a handful will know if you made a noise. Only a handful of us will know if you turned to look at us. But all of us remember one key aspect of this. You fucked a dead animal. That's the one thing we're all going to agree on. And guess what? That happens in every state, every form there's a tragedy, there's always an issue. People that witnessed 9/11 with their very own eyes wondered whether or not they received the right information because their brain was trying to protect them of certain aspects of that day. Just so you know.
Positively who knew Martin Bryant that didn't identify him as the shooter on the day.
Because I didn't know his fucking name.
And made witness statements in relation to that. And these were quashed. They were never heard in court. In regards to Martin's confession, the only thing to say about that is that Martin, who was diagnosed as having an IQ of 66, which makes him the equivalent of a young child,
correct,
was put on a guardianship order in 1993 by the same Supreme Court in Hobart.
Correct.
Now, that dictates that he was not mentally capable to be able to handle his own affairs.
But you're also forgetting that when the court-appointed psychiatrist that we heard from yesterday, Alan Mullins, stipulated that, yes, despite the fact him having a troubled childhood, was still mentally competent to understand right from wrong. Brave is 11 years old, and I can guarantee you he can probably tell me what colour the captain's shed is, right? Because he's good at retaining information, as is anyone from the age of 11. Fuck, that's one of the things that you learn from about 6 onwards.
So he should not really have been able to enter a plea in the first instance.
He didn't. His lawyer did.
Of guilty or not guilty. Despite that, Martin Bryant, once he was incarcerated at Risdon, held a not guilty plea staunchly for 5 months. He was kept in solitary confinement
No, he was actually kept in a specially purpose-built mental facility inside that prison. It was a specially built mental health ward because it was the first one of its kind in Tasmania, where he was then kept under 24-hour surveillance for risk of suicide. Anyway, let's not let facts get in the way of your good story, shall we?
By his own admission in his interview, which was redacted from the pre-trial hearing.
Wrong.
He was tortured. He said,
Wrong.
quote, "They pulled my arms up behind my head and they made me lie down on my burnt back," because Martin was burnt.
You actually are reading, by the way, the transcript from the pre-trial when he was in hospital and the nurses had to clean him. In case you're wondering, again, how I know that information, you supplied it.
In the seascape fire. Now, that was not...
There you go. One. Look at this. Look at this. Brave already remembers. What, the Lions Club one is blue and the Captain's Rebuild shed is already brown. Fucking spot on. Correct.
Out in court. If that had been, a prosecution and a defence would have been in very shaky territory about the legitimacy of that record.
No, because the way that it was written, especially under nurse testimony, I think that kind of is proof enough. But yeah, what would I know?
Martin held his not guilty plea for 5 months, and his defence lawyer, John Avery, who was later on disgraced and sentenced for misappropriating his client's funds. He went to...
And what's that got to do with Martin Bryant, considering he was a public defender at the time and received absolutely zero payment for his time? Just out of curiosity. John Avery went to fucking, misappropriation. Oh, did he? Let's have a look, shall we? Let's find out if that at least is correct. Avery. So in 2008, John Avery was arraigned in the Supreme Court of Tasmania by the Chief Justice Evan Crawford on indictment alleging one count of misappropriation as a company officer and 133 counts of stealing. So tell me again what that had anything to do with the Martin Bryant case, which happened again in 1996, a good 12 years before he started flogging shit from work. Because how's that relevant? Please tell me. Please tell me how that's relevant. Just said it. I'm very fucking curious about. You also failed to mention in 2010, Avery was the subject of an entry for the Archibald Prize by the Hobart artist Steve McFarlane. You didn't mention that part. That was 2 years after. Even though he was sentenced to 4 years, 6 months from September 3rd, 2008, without parole for 2 years and 3 months. And on the 28th of September 2012, he was released from jail. So guess what? He did his crime. He did his time. What's that got to do with what we're talking about? Because that has as much to do with Martin Bryant's case as me shoving a light bulb at my ass, going, I learnt this from the Addams Family, bending over going, da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da, and saving the Titanic from hitting an iceberg. Not fucking at all. Sorry, I interrupted you. Continue.
Jail.
Hey, Wednesday is here, everyone.
Martin's defence lawyer, after 5 months, went to his mother, Carleen, and said, you have to help me to get Martin to change his plea to guilty. Carleen, his mother, and she wrote this in her book, My Story, which is freely available, went to the prison with John Avery and told Martin that unless he changed his plea to guilty, he would never see her or his sister Lindy again.
Yeah, because that was part of the conditioning, that if he was found guilty, that he would have had conditions upon visits and visitations into a prison system. Come on, mate, this is law fucking 101.
So Martin changed his plea to guilty. So that doesn't mean that he wasn't guilty, but
well, you're fucking claiming that he wasn't.
It certainly casts some aspersions on that plea because he was basically threatened with being cut off from his family.
Well, let's not forget the whole fucking... I reckon you'll find out who caused all of this. Hey, we're just going to skip over that?
As a result of not having an open trial, and also the
That's right. That's why all the light globes are in here. I've only got 2 left.
fact that Martin
Guess where the third one went?
has been thrown in jail, and very, very few people get to interview Martin Bryant.
Correct, because, and you're not going to believe me when I tell you this, he's a prisoner. I know. It's fucking weird, isn't it? That's why Ivan Milat wasn't on fucking Fox FM every 4 days. Because he's not allowed to be.
We haven't heard from the horse's mouth, so to speak. He was never put on trial. He was never cross-examined.
Except for that time that the Channel 7 did that investigative report and spoke with him in jail. Let's just skip over that, though.
He's never been video interviewed. He was videoed interviewed at one instant by 2 inspectors.
Correct.
This is 5 months after he'd been held in solitary confinement.
When he confessed to the crime. Yep, gotcha.
And at that point, he hadn't even been charged with the full extent of his crimes. So when they basically charged him with the deaths of 35 people, his reaction was stunned.
Joyful. Stun's not the word we're looking for here. If you're going to use a word apart from joyful, excited, any other positive inflections on the situation, then you're fucking dead wrong, because we all watched it with our own eyes.
He had no concept.
This guy, by the way, everyone that's asking me, his name is... Nice. His name's Paul something or other. What's his fucking real name? I don't know. Paul something. Paul Madick. I think it's his full name. I think that's his full birth name. Paul Madick.
Mother Energy Drink.
Must be Scottish of the day.
Mother!
On YouTube, The Wasp Files. Pay him a visit.
That he had killed that many people or was charged with their murders. So, taking all of that into account, and also once...
And I'm going to point out, this motherfucker has more subscribers than I do. He's on 28,000 subscribers. That's 28,000 people that agree with this dude.
You do the deep research into Port Arthur that I have, there is an enormous amount, a dirge of information that is contradictory to the mainstream story.
What's next? Oh, let me tell you this. Did the police girt around the building, did they? Fucking hell, mate. What other old English terms do you want to bring up? I love girt. Oh, that's one of my favourite. Come out with your hands up. We have your girt.
And that has made people uncomfortable with the mainstream story as it's been produced. People want answers. They want to know why these events occurred, and they want to know why the information has been quashed.
No, only about 28,000 people out of the entirety of the world want to know that. And most of them are lucky to spell their own fucking name correctly. In case you're wondering how I know that, I fucking read some of the comments.
In summary, too, in 1996, at the pre-trial hearing, the Supreme Court ordered a ban on the evidence being released for 30 years.
That doesn't sound right. Let's have a look at that, shall we? Because if that was the case, let's say, you know what, let's use your logic here. The Supreme Court of Tasmania put a suppression order in place that no evidence is allowed to be used for the next 30 years. Right, we now hit that 30-year marker, right, earlier this year. This video was a year ago. How did you get your information? How did you get all of this information, buddy? Where did you get all of your evidence from? Because according to you, all of this information was suppressed. No one could see it. No one could understand it. No one was allowed to read it. It was a fucking do not touch. But for some reason, you fucking know all about it. How is that possible? Can you fill me in? Have you been breaking the law, you dirty little goat fucker? What's been going on in your world? Hey, Gene's here, everyone. But yeah, I'm very curious. Let's have a look, shall we? Let's just fucking check this out. Suppression order. Nice. 30 years. There is no official 30-year suppression order for the Port Arthur Massacre files. The 1996 Tasmania Supreme Court files and the police evidence were subject to a standard statutory sealing period to protect victims' privacy. But this has often been a misquoted online active gag order. And I think that's where you're getting confused, good son. Where did I get that information? The Supreme Court. Fuck me, mate. How many paint chips did you eat as a kid? 6? I'm going to think 6.
This was due to be released next year in 2026, in which case the supposed evidence of the case would have been presented to the public, supposedly for public examination.
He's
However,
gagging on
after I
something.
announced...
Essentially, he's 100% gagging on something. I think we all know what it is.
Mother energy drink.
No, he doesn't deserve that.
Joke
Of the day.
Mother!
I tell you what's protecting fucking everyone for Martin Bryant right now.
Oh God, built like a rock, never gonna break, never gonna stop.
We wish.
that I was going to...
It could be. We could be. There's a suppression order in place. We don't know whether Pro Guard's involved or not. We don't know how deep this goes, but I guarantee you we're going to the top on this one.
make a film in 2016 about the Port Arthur Massacre.
Right.
Tahoe, which is the Tasmanian Archives and Heritage Office, had a video conference in which they stated that they were going to digitise all of the files of Port Arthur, the audiovisual material, the files, the task force material, and place them in the archives under the highest restrictive category, E75, Chief Police Commissioner's eyes only, for a further 75 years. That means
For a
you,
further
me,
75
and
years?
everyone associated with Port Arthur.
Oh my God, someone best go and tell everyone, because, well, everything's available as it was only after fucking he was sentenced. Oh my God, oh my fucking God, oh my Lord, what are we going to do? So the Tasmanian Heritage of Archives or some bullshit. Tahoe. Let's have a look, shall we? Oh, we got the National Museum of Australia, the Disaster Knowledge Hub, Al Jazeera. I'm not sure if we need to know about that one. I'm trying to find this fucking Tasmanian fucking thing that he's gone. Tasmanian Historical fucking Archive. Okay, let's go Tasmanian, Okay, let's bring this up, shall we? Let's have a look. Let's find it. Let's go fucking Port Arthur. Port Arthur. Type in Port Arthur Mass. CRE. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. There appears to be, from 1996, detailed information. Oh my God. Oh my God. How deep does this go? Oh my God. Oh no. Including from 2001. The presentation on the Port Arthur incident prelude to a royal commission. Oh my God. 1997. Oh, Port Arthur, enough is enough. A national grief. Oh my God. Oh. What are we gonna do now? These motherfuckers. These tohos down there in Tassie. Oh, the people from the Tasmanian fucking historical bloody whatever it was called. The Tasmanian fucking Historical Association. Where did they get this information? Where did they get it from? Oh, we need to start connecting the dots, people. Well, this is going to go all the way to the mail boy. Oh, fucking hell. Where did they get this information? G'day, Shawnee, how are you? Shugs, how are you? We're just trying to figure out where these thieving, stealing fucking people from the Tasmanian fucking historical archive office managed to get themselves their hands on this whole kit and caboodle. Where did they get this information? Port Arthur Massacre. Access to the original investigation and police reports and statements regarding the port is heavily restricted. How did we get all that? How did that happen? But then you go and then you type it in. I think no one ever thought about just typing in the words. Yeah, I think that's where everyone went wrong. Maybe you didn't spell Arthur correctly. I don't know. Also, just so you know, the Tasmanian Archives of History is a privately owned corporation, which don't even have a fucking website. Just say his name. Yeah, what would I know? I'm only a guy with a computer that can look this stuff up. Anyway, let's see what fucking Paul Bart, the fucking mall cop, has to say about it.
Will be dead before that information is released. So
and by the way, what's in there is the archive, not the digitized version, the archive. You know, where governments will, go and put documents they don't want hanging around the office anymore because they don't need to. And it's standard no matter what your business is, and anyone in Australia that works a business or knows a business knows true well that you have to hold on to all archives for 30 years and then within certain circumstances an extra 75 depending on what they are. Financial records is normally 30 years, but you're not going to believe it. Some people just store it on a computer and then do backups. Some keep hard copies, like every hotel on planet Earth, and then they put them away in there's a special box that you can put this paperwork in. What was that special box called? Oh, what's that box that you put archives in? What was that called? There's a fucking box. In fact, you can get a couple of them for a couple of dollars from any Home Depot. And there's a special box for archives. Maybe I'm just imagining it. Maybe we should invent a box that could keep archives in it. Oh, what was it called? An archive box. What a great name. Let's invent it. Because obviously this guy doesn't know they exist. And then maybe what we'll do is we'll put all our archives in this archive box and we'll store it somewhere safe. I don't know. Maybe the archive people of Tasmania, because that's where we are right now, maybe they'll look after it for us.
The reason Port Arthur won't lie still is because the information has been repressed unjustifiably, in my opinion, and that there are far too many questions that people have no answers for. Some of these are the victims, people that I know personally, and survivors.
Oh, you know them personally, do you? Name 3.
Who are angry about the way they were treated, who were never given their say in court, who were shunted to the side, who were never interviewed by the media.
Why does the media need to fucking get involved and interview them? You're not going to believe this, but the media don't need to interview everyone. I know, it's weird, isn't it? It's almost like that's the job of the police.
And these people have very different...
You know, when Desi Fuckknuckle shot and killed 2 policemen, you're not going to believe this, but the fucking Channel 7 News didn't rock up to my door asking me any questions. I know, I was as shocked as you are.
Opinions about Port Arthur.
Absolutely fucking shocked.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of the WASP Files. Feel free to share far and wide.
I don't think I will, but thanks anyway. You have a face that could honestly scare cancer into remission. Go fuck yourself.
Nice.
All right, let's get you off our screen. Now, just when you think that this vile piece of shit couldn't irk you any further, he does like to fuck around and not necessarily find out. That's something that he's not very good at, is the finding out part. But he'll fuck around a bit. I promised you this, and I will play it for you. Now, we all remember what took place with the people in the BMW. We heard about it. We spoke about it. Where it was the Salesmans, I believe, Heather and I should know that off the top of my head, but I do apologise. They were 2 of the 3 in the BMW. I'm just trying to find the video on it. This one? Let me just have a look. Sorry, I'm just trying to Yeah, this is the one. This is the one. This is the one. This guy's done a whole series on this, by the way, because he's got fuck all to do with his day. So we're going to have a look. We're going to skip ahead of his bullshit. We'll go straight into what he talks about when it comes to the Cheok family and the BMW, etc., etc. So this was what took place at the toll booth as he was leaving the place, and he took a couple of people hostage, etc., etc. So let's find out what fucking Professor No Cunt fucking has to talk about.
Discretion is advised. There were some odd occurrences during the Port Arthur massacre.
Hang on, why do you have a beard in this one, but you didn't in the other one? Oh, I know why. That's goat hair pussy, isn't it? That's goat pussy hair. I know goat pussy hair when I see it. You dirty goat fucker. Everyone point at him. Everyone point at him and go, look at you, you Temu version of Penn Jillette. Look at you. You are a dirty on the 1 and a 2 and a 3 goat fucker.
That were never explained during the pre-trial hearing or in the many years afterwards. One of these is the shooting that took place at the Port Arthur toll booth, which was at the entrance to the Port Arthur historical site.
Right.
This involved the Cheok family.
Correct.
The Cheoks had travelled to Port Arthur on the day. In the vehicle was Nicholas Cheok, his mother Frida, and her work colleague Deborah Ray, who also had a young child with her, Ashley, who was in a child seat.
Right.
They had approached
Okay. Great. Cool. Continue.
the toll booth
Right.
with the intention of entering the historical site.
Uh-huh.
When they arrived, they discovered that both access roads were blocked by vehicles.
Uh-huh.
In the incoming lane on which they were travelling,
Right.
the lane was blocked by a gold bronze BMW with two occupants sitting in the vehicle.
Well, here we go.
The vehicle was not running and the vehicle was not travelling, it was simply parked.
Right.
In the outgoing lane from the Port Arthur historical site, about 6 metres back at the rear of the BMW was Martin's yellow Volvo.
Right.
The Cheoks described that seated in the yellow Volvo, in the front driver's seat, was a blonde-haired male. Next to him, in the passenger front seat, was a woman, and in the rear of the yellow Volvo was another male. Sitting in the front seat of their vehicle, Nicholas Cheok had a very clear point of view of the altercation that was taking place on the road ahead of them. At some point,
I want to find what you're on about. Where do I find this detail on the Cheok family that you're fucking on about? Because you're about to make some very fucking wild accusations here, and we want to have that information too. Do I look into your fucking statements? Because I trust that as much as I trust a fucking badger with the hairs on me dick. Let's have a prefix. Cheok. How the fuck do you even spell Cheok? Here's a good question. Cheok. Can't even find anything on the fucking Cheok thing. How do we spell Cheok? Anyone? I got Bridge Crooks, the cafe. Here's an interview. Carl fucking somebody. Carleen. Coombs. Trying to find these Cheok people. Room. Gunsmith. Jacob. Victor. Chia Pet, yeah, that's probably more accurate. I'm trying to find this Cheok thing. Because I can't find anything. Even when I type, there could be Just trying to see what I can find, but yeah, there's getting light on. Like a million fucking things on here that none of them even relate to what took place. What the judge said, yeah. Said. Tell me where you get this Cheok thing from. How do we find this Cheok? I'll see you later, Lamont. I thought it was like this. Maybe it's like chi as in chi. Chick family? That doesn't sound right. Chi family. Oh, let's try chi and see what we get. Did anyone see how he spelled it? Oh, I thought you were leaving. Sorry, mate. Maybe we need to go back and find it on his little. There we go. CHEOK. All right, so let's type that in. C H C. It's funny how there's no mention of a Cheok family anywhere. Who are these Cheoks that you speak of? Because I can't find them. Let's have a look at. Let's type in fucking Nicholas then. Nicholas. Oh. Gotta be careful not to play this, whatever it is, because. No, that was the Spotlight one that we watched. All right. Oh, you can't see what I'm looking at. Sorry. Just realized you can't. Give me a second. Oh, that's not the one. That's not the one. Where did I see this? What Arthur Massacre? Nick. Yok. Killed before the Port Arthur Massacre. Cheok. The official story of the. Oh, here we go. Here we go. The official story of the Port Arthur Massacre. Nicholas Cheok saw most of what took place and gave witness statements 2.5 months later. Read it carefully. You owe it to the victims. All right, so who did he give this statement to? Who did he give it to? Oh, here we go. Major Crimes Force. He lived at his present address of South Australia for a while. We approached the tow booth. I saw what I think was a white-coloured stopped on the side of the road. It was in our lane facing up. The left-hand side of the BMW, I saw a yellow Volvo stationed, but it was on the correct side of the road. My first attention was drawn to the cars. What are they doing on the side of the road? Let's have a look at your map, shall we? And the toll booth, you say? Where he was taking people hostage, you say? Who would have thought? Deceased person, the yellow Volvo, the gold BMW. That happens to be blocking exactly where the police said it was when he jumped out of the yellow Volvo, shot and killed 2 people, jumped in this car, the golden BMW, and drove away. Right, yeah. That kind of matches up with the official story, though. Doesn't it? I don't know. high fancy law degreed person, but then again, neither are you. But I'm going out on a limb here, and I'm going to say that map, oh, look at that. Oh, who would have thought? The yellow Volvo. There's six people on the ground. Huh. Huh. There's the Cheoks car. Huh. Huh. Yeah, this is a bit odd, isn't it? You don't say, hey? Who would have guessed? Who would have fucking thought? Let's go back to your statement where you're talking about the Volvo was diagonally across.
Nice.
The Volvo was diagonally across from ours, right? And was about two sedan car lengths away. These positions on the road I have marked are only to the best of my memory now because it looks a little bit different from when I was actually there on the day. Subsequently, I signed my name and I wrote in the time, date, and I marked it NCE1. When Deborah stopped the car, I saw a male person about 65 with white hair wearing glasses in the driver's seat of the BMW. The lady in the front passenger seat had dark brownish hair, shortish hair, was about 52 years of age. Both of these people were making worried gestures or hand signals as if to say, stop! Pointing for us to go back. Geez, that sounds like people that were in on it. Isn't it? Anyway, continue your fucking dribble fest and let's see exactly what you claim happened. Because we have their, thanks to you, we have their statement. So, yeah, please, continue. Let's just cherry pick stuff, by the way. If we're going to just cherry pick shit from it, right, we'll just randomly highlight something, shall we? Like, there, go look at this. It was stated in his witness statement that there was a little bit more talking, about 10 seconds, which I'm guessing wasn't actually mentioned in the court of law, by the way, because, you know, the juris doctrine of it all stated that there was no talking because he even admitted, Milan even admitted in a redacted form that there was no talking, especially 10 seconds worth of talking. But we have this statement right here in front of us from a witness on the day that states there was a little bit more talking, about 10 seconds. So I rest my case, Your Honour. He's free to go. You see how that works? You see how you're like doing cold reading. You are the cold reader of fucking police reports. You pick and choose what you want. What was that dickhead's name that used to, John Edwards? You are the John Edwards of fucking stupid shit. Right? There's a spirit that's coming to me right now. His name begins with J. Is there anyone out there that knows someone that died with the beginning initial J? Anyone? Does anyone have one? Because he had like heart problems. He had a heart. It was pumping. Now it's not pumping. Does that make any sense to anyone? He had a little green dog, or it could have been a bag, or it could have been a cat, or it could have been a shirt. Does anyone know a John J, something beginning with J, who's now dead because his heart has stopped pumping and had something to do with the colour green? You are that version. Fuck me. I've seen some dumb fucks before, but you, my friend, are the king of the mountain.
Altercation that was taking place on the road ahead of them. At some point, Robert
You make it sound like they were fucking 3 or 4 kilometres away, by the way.
Exited the rear of the yellow Volvo and stood waiting.
So hang on a minute. You reckon he got himself out of the Volvo now? He wasn't in the inside the car, but it pretty much states here that the blonde-headed male and an older man, the blonde-headed man lifted up his gun, pointed it at the chest of the older man, and something was said. I didn't hear what, and I just heard a blast like a firecracker sound, and the older man's chest seems to have caved in as he fell to the ground and laid on the ground and didn't move. I don't know. It sounds like someone that got shot in the chest. Because if he was in on it, he's really fucking committed to the whole method acting side of it.
The blonde-haired male exited the front driver's side.
That's not written in the statement, by the way.
And approached him, and they were quite close together and having a conversation which lasted for approximately 3 minutes.
10 seconds, we just read it.
Nicholas Cheok describes the gunman as being approximately 6 foot with long blonde hair wearing a dark coat.
He doesn't actually
mention that. There was no firearm present during this conversation at this point.
Sorry, hang on a sec, mate. Whoa, sorry, buddy. Sorry, I don't mean to correct you. I don't mean to point out facts because I know that you're really enjoying the bullshit that you're starting with. Let's just have a look at his official statement, again, that you fucking supplied. where it states here that a male lifted up a gun and pointed it at his chest of the older man. Something was said, I didn't hear what. And then I heard a blast, like a firecracker sound, and the older man's chest just seemed to have just caved in, and he fell to the ground and laid there on the ground and didn't move. Which one of you are lying? Which one of you isn't telling the truth? Which one of you is telling porky pies, you silly billy stupid face? Is it you or the guy whose statement we are literally reading? Oh, I don't know. Maybe you guys can draw a conclusion. Maybe I'm not smart enough to read between the fucking lines of dumb fuck. But who knows? Now, again, we are looking at the exact statement that he is talking about.
The conversation soon developed into an argument, and it was noted with some concern that the rest of the vehicle's occupants, which was Deborah and Frida, had noticed that the men were arguing. And Deborah replied, "There's something wrong. They're arguing. Maybe we should go."
Yeah, maybe that gunshot to the chest was
The
probably the
blonde-haired
indicator.
male then walked around to the rear of the Volvo and retrieved a rifle, which Nicholas Cheok described as being a Schwarzenegger-type gun, maybe a shotgun. It's wise to remember at this point that when the Volvo was investigated after being abandoned at the toll booth, in the boot of the Volvo was the Daewoo 12-gauge semi-automatic shotgun, which has some similarities in appearance to the Colt SP1. However, it's a much bulkier and larger firearm. Nicholas described the rifle as being greyish in colour with black components to it, which in some ways very much marries up to the 12-gauge Daewoo shotgun. However, Gerard Dutton's ballistics report on the Port Arthur shooting does not mention shotgun being fired at any point. The argument continued, and then the blonde-haired male lifted up the firearm and fired at close range into Robert Salzman's chest. Nicholas Cheok described his chest as caving in before he collapsed to the road.
We got that right at least.
Russell Pollard then exited the driver's side of the parked gold BMW and walked over to where the gunman was. There was a short conversation before the gunman shot him as well. The gunman...
I'm just having a bit of a look at where he started this bullshit from. I'm going to go back up here. This is where he started from. They were standing fairly close together. I could see they were talking to each other. The other older guy was standing near the back of the Volvo, between the Volvo and the BMW. Driver got out of the Volvo, walked over him. Deborah said they were arguing and looked at them from their body language. I could tell that they were arguing. My mum was saying, "Let's go," and we should go. They're the people from that car. Up to this time, from when we first stopped, about 3 minutes had gone by. Now, bear in mind that this is a guy that is giving his interview 2.5 months later, and in his own statement says that the timelines may not match up. He then walked around to the front of the Volvo. He went to the left side of the Volvo towards the rear. From my position, I could see the blonde-headed male was doing, and I couldn't really see if he was at the rear of the car or the rear left door of the Volvo. But then I saw him walk back around the Volvo, back to where he's standing, talking to the older male, and the older male just stood there in the same place when he got out. Like, as in, the older man stood where he was standing when the blonde-headed fella got out of the Volvo. That's what he was stating there, standing in the same place as when he got out of the Volvo. When the blonde man walked back to the older male, that's when I saw he was carrying a gun of something, just a large gun to me. I don't know much about guns, but it reminded me of an Arnold Schwarzenegger type gun. I imagine it to be a rifle or a shotgun. I actually remember him carrying one gun, but I couldn't tell exactly the colour. It was mostly blackish, but in the some areas were different colours, like greyish. A bit more talking than 10 seconds, blah, blah, blah. So he's misquoting what we are literally reading, that the guy got out of the BMW. Well, first off, he can't determine which car the 52-year-old male came in. There we go. I saw a male man, white hair, glasses, in the driver's seat of the BMW. Well, he wasn't in the fucking Volvo then, was he? He was in the front seat of the BMW, the driver's seat, to be precise. Both of these were they're all making gestures saying, "We better get the fuck out of here." No wonder they were saying something was wrong. So I don't know where you're claiming that this bloke came out of the fucking Volvo. I think I saw this man, but I did notice a woman who was 45 years of age. In the front seat of the Volvo, the driver's seat of the Volvo. There you go. So then I then saw a male person get out of the driver's seat of the Volvo. He had long blonde hair, and which was down to his shoulders, solid build, about 6 foot tall, around 25 years of age. He had jeans and a Winchester on, dark coloured. I don't remember exactly what colour. They were talking to the man as he got out of the back seat of the Volvo, but I couldn't remember what they were saying. Well, you just said that he got out of the BMW, and so there's misconstrued information with inside all of that anyway, from a guy that can barely remember what happened after 2.5 months of witnessing the tragedy. But nonetheless, he does state very clearly there that there was a firearm. He may not have seen it when Bryant first got out of the vehicle, but he does then go on to say that the man who originally they said came out of the fucking passenger seat of the Volvo was actually in the driver's seat of the BMW. It's right there. In the driver's seat of the BMW. Right? About 65 years of age with white hair, and he was wearing glasses in the driver's seat of the BMW. States it right there. It's like fucking in black and white. Anyway, continue your fuck fest. Let's continue. I know you got sheep to fuck, so let's get into it.
And then walked around to the front passenger side of the Volvo and dragged out Helene Salzman and shot her on the side of the road. Following the shooting of Helene Salzman, the Cheoks had rapidly reversed their vehicle to escape the scene of the shooting. We later discovered that the shooter had also dragged Mary Nixon from the front passenger seat of the BMW and shot her as well and left her by the side of the road before commandeering the BMW and driving onwards towards Seascape. So there are some salient questions that need to be answered about the shooting that took place at the toll booth. Remember that just a short distance down the road towards the Port Arthur Historical Site, the gunman had shot and murdered Nanette Mikak and her 2 young daughters, Alana and Madeleine, by the side of the road. Anyone situated at the toll booth would be clearly aware that there was an armed assailant who had opened fire and murdered civilians.
Unless you're just driving in.
So one of the questions was, why was the gold BMW parked in the incoming lane of the entrance at the toll booth to the Port Arthur Historical Site? Why?
Because they were just driving in and went, I think someone's getting shot, and they fucking stopped. Or maybe, I don't know, hear me out, there was no toll booth person because they were running for their fucking lives.
And it driven away.
G'day, Shy.
The other question was, what was Robert Salzman and Helene Salzman doing seated in Martin Bryant's yellow Volvo with the gunman having a conversation? Remember?
Well, he clears up further in his thingo there that they weren't. I then saw the driver of the BMW open his door and get around the front of the BMW in the general direction of the blonde-headed male. And then we remember what happened. That few words were spoken, and then he got shot, right? What did you say? You also saw the gun was only inches away from his chest when he shot the gun, right up on the first man's chest. He shot him at some point just before the shooting started. A small blue-coloured car pulled up, stopped behind Deborah's car, indicated the person in the blue car by the letter D on the drawing. My mum was telling this car to move when it finally reversed. I heard the screeching of the tyres. Deborah casually put her car in reverse and also reversed at high speed. So you've stated in this that there were 3 people in the BMW and 0, apart from Martin Bryant, in the Volvo. That's in the guy's statement. And I'll share a link to this statement and you guys can read it because it's there. I don't know. You guys tell me. Maybe I'm fucking 100% wrong on all this, but I don't know. But there it is. There's your, go knock yourselves out. Have a look.
Remember, they were not at gunpoint. Why did they not run into the bush on either side of the road? Why did they not try and wrestle the firearm from the gunman if it was in the back seat? Remember that Robert Salzman was seated in the rear seat with the gunman?
No, that wasn't right.
And
it was in the driver's seat of the BMW.
Why did they not try and grab the firearm when they were accosted once the argument had taken place?
Have you ever tried to grab a gun off someone when they're aiming it directly at you? Just out of curiosity, I'm a bit curious to see how you'd put up with it.
The Volvo was left by the side of the road. The rear passenger window had been shot out, And located
NCR, how are you,
in the
mate?
boot of the yellow Volvo was the 12-gauge semi-automatic Daewoo shotgun, some ammunition, and what was also discovered in the Volvo conveniently was Martin Bryant's passport.
Right.
If you recall, when Terry McCarthy was speaking to Jamie, who was the role that Martin Bryant was playing when he was on the phone to the police negotiator, Jamie rattled off the passport number and he said, "I remember it because I travel so much." So this, of course, conveniently then identified him as being Martin Bryant because his passport was in the yellow Volvo, was discovered there after the shooting. As we know, the commandeered BMW continued on its way to Seascape.
I just noticed this. Fuck Knuckle No Friends has doctored the record on his Google Drive, on his drive here, because if this was a true witness statement at the end here, end of witness statement, there'd be signatures from all three people: the police, the interviewer, like the interviewee, and a witness. There's none of that. And then some fuckhead is written end of witness statement, quotes, questions and notes. You never in the history of witness statements did the police write fucking notes on a witness statement. Ever. They don't pose questions with terrible fucking punctuation and grammar. Their friends, Robert and Helena, were sitting in the Volvo with the gunman, and a hot smoking rifle. Did they? Where was that mentioned? Apart from where you've decided to fuck with things. Mate, now that you've doctored it, I don't believe this statement in the slightest. And what also does it for me is Getty Images. In other words, you fucking ripped off an image from the internet, a stock photo of the Volvo, and stuck it on what you are trying to pass as an official witness statement. What you did is write a bunch of bullshit that you couldn't even get right because you contradicted yourself a million. That's the end of the pages. That's the end of the pages. There's no signatures. There's no nothing written here. There's a couple of links. I don't remember police ever fucking putting in a hyperlink, right, to the National Library of Medicine. Why would the police put a hyperlink on an official witness statement that takes you to the National Library of Medicine, let alone the psychology, trauma, PTSD, and memory distortion of someone that has gone through a tragic event? Why would the police need to do that, Mr. Conspiracy Man? Let me start my own conspiracy. My own conspiracy, based on 100% of the evidence that I've fucking come across, is you fuck dead animals. You don't even fuck live ones. Chile, at least from Delete Laws, fucks alive barn animals, but you couldn't even fuck a live one. You have to fuck dead ones. But there's nothing here that indicates that this is a real witness statement. This is the only thing that you are fucking claiming. This is the only thing on the fucking internet about this guy's fucking... There's no other mention of this guy at all. I don't know. Again, not no high fancy lawyer, and you are likely fucking... I guarantee you have Bluetooth headphones in your ears reminding you to breathe in and out. I guarantee it. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Anyway, continue with your
Stopping at the
horseshit.
service station where Glenn Pierce was kidnapped and forced into the boot of the BMW and his girlfriend shot and killed. The BMW then made its way down to Seascape, and there was a shooting by the entranceway to the cottage,
Where he
which
shot and
took
killed
place by an individual firing upon vehicles that were travelling to and from the Port Arthur historic site on that road. These questions need to be answered, as well as many other oddities that surround the Port Arthur massacre. And without an inquest...
I really hope you fucking switch on to this and you see this live stream, because I'll fucking bring you on the program and we can discuss it, shall we? There is an open invitation. You come over here. Let's do the old Steve Childer, Charlie Kirk fucking thing. Change my mind. Port Arthur happened the way that we all saw it happened. Change my mind. All right? Fucking open invitation. Come on down.
And without an open trial, they remain once again a mystery.
Yeah, well, fucking how you can dress yourself remains one of the biggest fucking mysteries in my life, right? Has anyone ever fucked you? These are the questions. These are the questions. Has anyone ever had sex with you consensually? Has anyone you've ever fucked of human variety ever had sex with you without crying in the shower afterwards? These are real questions that I want answers to, and until I get my answers, we're just going to speculate, because that's what you do. Right. What we're going to do now, ladies and gentlemen, got something special for you, actually. This is real special. I spoke with a lovely lady earlier today who told me a situation in their life, right? And that situation has progressed into their marriage. And she asked me, she pleaded, well, she didn't plead, but she asked me very nicely. She's like, Captain, this is the situation as it unfolds. Can you talk to your friends in Venom Vulture and maybe put together a collective of words in the structure of a song to convey the pain that my husband might have to go through on a time-to-time basis? I'm sure he's not the only one, she says. I'm sure there is many people in this world that have to go through what he goes through. And I said to her, I said, lady, how did you get this phone number? And then I said, fuck it, I'll do it. Right? So the first song, you know, the second song, brand new from the Venom Vultures. And let me just say this, it's a dedication. It's a love song. It's a dedication from a wife to a husband to understand she knows what you go through, and she's with you. She's with you the whole time. Enjoy. See you in about 7.
I bought a toy, thought it was cute. Now it's stalking me, plotting my route. Tastic grin, eyes glowing red. I hear it whisper, tonight you're dead. Creeps on my shelf, jumps on my bed. Tiny little killer filling me with dread. I swing my chair, I try to run. It hops on my shoulder, now the nightmare's begun. My Labubu wants to kill me. I can't escape its gaze. My Labubu wants to kill me. I'm trapped in its maze. It whispers secrets I don't wanna know. Promises of pain only a Labubu could bestow. It ain't just a toy, it's a demon in disguise, plotting my death, staring from its eyes. When it leaves, it comes backwards. Labubu's got me trapped in a deadly curse. I thought I bought a toy, a friend to keep me company. Turns out my Labubu's an assassin, its target, it's me. The tiny demon laughing, I'm tempting fate. How could its love quickly turn to hate? My Labubu wants to kill me. Tiny terror in the night. My Labubu wants to kill me. I can't escape its bite. Tick tock, hear the claws click. Labubu's coming, the ending sick. Tiny toy assassin, demon in disguise. Smile so sweet till it googes your eyes. I try to hide, I try to flee, but it kneecapped me. Tiny little murderer, plastic horror dread. Labubu's winning, tonight I'm dead. Lock your shelves, hide your toys. Labubu's hungry, it destroys. So I pray, so I beg, maybe it'll let me be. But my Labubu's hungry. It's coming for me.
She's in winter mode, like a bear in a cave. 3 hoodies deep and refusing to shave. Leg hair standing like a field of wheat. Pale as a vampire with pimples and cold feet. She's wrapped in blankets like a hostage in fleece. My little blue balls no longer get released. Her pajamas are huge, her socks don't match, and romance got buried under 12 pounds of hairy snatch. She puts her cold feet on me, no warning, no shame. Now my balls are frozen and in pain. I jumped so hard I nearly left my soul. She said stop being dramatic while I look at her hairy hole. But I remember sunshine, I remember the flame, when summer rolls in and she changes the game. Spray tan, glowing smooth legs back, white shorts hidden like a heart attack. She's a winter cold woman, but I'm willing to wait. Football sack swinging like an old church gate. Right now she's dressed like a retired magician, but summer brings back my favorite condition. Down there looking like Chewbacca with a bloody nose. I'm praying for spring and her lack of clothes, because when summer hits she's hotter than fire, and I'm just a horny man with seasonal desire. She says don't touch me, I'm cold and I'm tired, while I'm lying there lonely with a dick that's expired. She's got snacks in her hoodie like emergency aid, with a pussy hidden behind a curly barricade. Her messy bun leans like a storm-damaged tree. She's got one eye open, barely looking at me. I try to be flirty, she gives me a stare like I just asked a crocodile if I could brush its hair. She says I'll wax when the sunshine arrives, so I'm checking the forecast like it's saving my life. Every cloudy day hits like a punch to the chest. My poor little soldiers are not getting rest. But I remember summer, I remember the show, when the cold disappears and the confidence grows. Fresh tan shining, hair looking right. I know she will fuck me all through the night. She's a winter cold woman, but I'm willing to wait. Football sack swinging like an old church gate. Right now she's dressed like a retired magician, but summer brings back my favorite condition. Down there looking like Chewbacca with a bloody nose. I'm praying for spring and her lack of clothes, because when summer hits she's hotter than fire, and I'm just a horny man with seasonal desire. I love her in winter, I swear that I do, even when her hair turns my big balls blue, even when she's dressed like a haunted beanbag, and the bedroom vibe moves slower than an icy flag. Love is patient, love is kind, love is pretending you don't mind. Love is holding on through the cold and gloom, while her body hair starts looking like a broken broom. I'm not giving up, I'm not walking away, I'm just waiting for sunshine and longer days, because under all that fleece, fluff, socks and rage, there's a summer bombshell my cock is waiting to engage. She's a winter cold woman, but I'm willing to wait. Football sack swinging like an old church gate. Right now she's dressed like a tired old wizard, and her feet feel colder than a dead man's lizard. Down there looking like Chewbacca crashed a crime scene, but summer's coming back, so is her beauty routine. Wax tan, glowing white shorts on fire, my patience finally turns into desire. She's winter cold now, but summer's a weapon, a walking heat wave with eyes from heaven. So I wait through the frost, the fluff and the pain, because summer brings my sexy woman back again. She's a winter cold woman, but I'm willing to wait. Football sack swinging like an old church gate. Right now she's dressed like a retired magician, but summer brings back my favorite condition. Down there looking like Chewbacca with a bloody nose. I'm praying for spring and her lack of clothes, because when summer hits she's hotter than fire, and I'm just a horny man with seasonal desire.
Danger, danger, danger. Trouble loves you, and that is her love song to you. Venom Vultures were more than happy to get involved. In fact, they did that song almost in about an hour and a half. That's how good they are. So enjoy it. I hope that touched you the way that it touched me, and that caused me to then go to an interview room where I had to point it out on a doll. Where did the song touch you? And I'm like, right there on the doodle. So far, what we've seen tonight from the Wasp Files is a bunch of shit, an absolute bunch of bullshit that is easily debunked by just literally the same evidence that he's using to support his claims. So he has done a few amount of videos over the last year. He's now then covered off into the Bondi Massacre. He's got a massive hard on for Port Arthur. That seems to be his one true love. And he's having a bit of a whinge and a sook about certain things. And I'm curious to see this one. I'm very curious to see what this situation is. Where is it? I had it here. Let me just... no, that's not it. Had it here. Oh, here we go. Let's see what he says here. I'm very curious about this one. Wait. Very, very curious what he says at all. It's like watching a train, a bus load of kittens, like a full school bus load of kittens, stopped on a train track, being driven by a bunch of wild fucking horses, and you don't want to look away, but at the same time, you know exactly what's going to come. That's what it's like watching one of these guys' videos. All right, hang on. He's immediately, no black screen on this one. He's like, fucking, it's go time.
Oh, welcome to tonight's episode of the Wasp Files.
Right.
Unfortunately, it's become apparent to me over the last few weeks that YouTube is restricting the content and episodes for the Wasp Files that has been presented online.
This is very important. And if those that remember, think back to yesterday.
This takes the form of an age restriction requiring anyone who wishes to view the episodes to first sign in with identification, which of course is impacting the amount of viewers that are able to access the content.
I'll give you the hot tip, fuckface. Any video that depicts violence, adult themes, anything of that nature, including some of the ones that I've produced, comes with an age restriction that you have to prove you're over the age of 18 to view said video, because it has been deemed by YouTube and the algorithm that this is not suitable for anyone under the age of 18. I did a video on Sexpo, the sex, what's the word I'm thinking of, convention that happens throughout the course of Australia, where, again, you're not going to believe this. It was age restricted because there was girls walking around with fuck all on. I know, it's weird. And the conversations were of a sexual nature. I know, fucking strange, isn't it? It's almost like if you're going to watch a YouTube video and you know that true well there's going to be violence involved, there's a bit of a, what's called, what was that thing that you referred to it as? An age restriction. You can't fucking purchase a movie or whatever back in the days of fucking Blockbuster and all that. You couldn't get a video that was age restricted to MA15 or whatever the situation was unless you were over that age. Oh, fucking, it's weird, isn't it?
This is not of my doing, and I am totally and absolutely opposed to it. Tonight's episode went even further, where YouTube has blocked it due to its content.
Yeah, they did that to me yesterday. They did that to me midstream. And there's a reason they did that, fuckwit. And it's got nothing to do with what you think it is. This is not a conspiracy by YouTube to censor you on the Port Arthur Massacre.
No matter how many permutations my editor and I went through to...
You have an editor? You have someone that edits your videos, really? You're that fucking lazy that you still can't even do it yourself?
Try and overcome this block. It was sustained by YouTube. As a result, please see the link to this video below, which will take you to an alternative platform, which is a Google Drive where you can view the material in its unadulterated form as it was
Unadulterated form. Kinky.
intended to be. In time, as requested by many of our commenters, I will be uploading all of the episodes of the WASP files to a personal website and to alternate platforms that are hopefully less restrictive, such as Rumble.
Let's get right.
I have to say that come December the 10th, it appears that our government has taken the draconian step of enacting a virtual...
Fuck me, someone bought this guy a Thesaurus for his birthday. Fuck me. It must be, what did you get? You get the Thesaurus, that word, Thesaurus, fucking from 1956, mate, because you're fucking pulling out some of the oldies.
Cross the board restriction on anyone being able to access the internet, various social media platforms without first showing ID.
Correct.
This has to be fought tooth and nail and is nothing less than an attack on our freedom of speech and our rights for access to information from the internet. So I urge you all to step up and fight this government agenda with everything you've got. In the meantime, please enjoy.
I'm going to pick videos that didn't age well for 500, please, Alex.
Enjoy this episode. Feel free to share far and wide and continue to subscribe. And I will continue to present material in whatever format that can get to you unadulterated.
He then continues to put his videos on YouTube. There's a spoiler warning for you. In case you're wondering, what was this content? What was this fucking censorship of the masses that he's referring to? What did the YouTube gods, fucking conspire against him not to show? Oh, I know what it was. It was the same program that we were watching yesterday. That was the Channel 7's or the Spotlight news program on the videos of Martin Bryan is doing the police interviews. The same video that got me taken off twice because of copyright. That's it. You were using copyright material. It was then flagged by the YouTube algorithm. Channel 7 probably doesn't know that you exist. In fact, I can almost bet the farm they have no idea that you exist. They have no idea I exist. Otherwise, they would have turned up to get my take on what took place during the Pulse nightclub shooting. Because as you've fucking have set the standard for, the media likes to just question anyone they can find instead of the police. Because, those witnesses to the Port Arthur massacre, they were never interviewed by the media. What are they hiding? Yeah, well, mate, I watched the Pulse nightclub shooting on YouTube. I've got a fucking few opinions that I can fucking bring up. But no. Do you reckon they wanted to talk to me? No, of course they didn't. Did the police want to talk to me? No. I was a witness. I was an online witness 6 years after it happened. But no one wants my take on it. Dude, you tried to play copyrighted material, you got flagged because you're uploading it. Now, for me, playing that, I went to YouTube and I disputed the claim because it was for an educational purpose, which is under one of the YouTube criteria. That's now gone through to the owners of the program, who then can make a decision whether they will approve for me to continue using that footage on that live stream or tell me to take it down. That's now up to them. But that decision hasn't been made yet. YouTube just said, hey, just so you know, this is copyrighted material and the person that owns it doesn't like anyone using it. So if you want to use it, you got to ask for permission. So I did. Did you do that? No, of course you didn't. Of course you didn't, because that involves time and effort. Go fuck yourself. Anyway, I wanted to show you that because, yeah, he's fucking, the world's out to get him. Yeah, he's tapped it now. The whole world knows what he's up to, and fucking, they're all out to get him. All of them. Even the ones that don't even know his name, they're all out to get him too. I'm going to bring up, let's bring up this fucking drop box of bullshit that he put up before. All right, let's have a look at some of the information that he relies on, starting with that coroner inquest. Because someone decided to write the coroner a letter. And then a letter returned, which strangely enough, he didn't include in his little fucking spiel about it all. Oh, by the way, here's a court transcript of what took place that day. This is the exact court transcript that he claims was redacted. He says pages 1 to 9 are redacted. Right, well, for starters, he's put page 50 up. He's starting on page 50. Oh my God. It's almost like it's all here. Oh, this is odd. He told me that wasn't. Oh, Your Honour, list of witnesses' names have been provided and transcribed by the typist, but there's no problem with the spelling. It appears everything's in neurological order. Pneumatic order, if you don't mind. Seems like it's all there. Bundles of transcript of what took place. Oh my, almost like there's a full transcript here. Holy dooly. Does he know? Does he know that he posted it all? Does he know that all of the evidence that he was looking for, it was right under his nose the whole time? Who would have guessed? Who would have thunk? Who would have known? Here's a coroner letter. Right, this is the first one that he gets from the Office of the Coroner, dated the 31st of January 1997, as a result of the outcome of the charges preferred against Martin Bryant in the Supreme Court of Tasmania. I write to advise you, the person that fucking wrote the letter, Miss Jenny Scott, whoever the fuck you are, right, which, by the way, isn't the Prime Minister of Australia that he was claiming it was. Remember that? Remember he put it up going, oh, this was the letter of the coroner. Oh, when John Howard told him to back the fuck off. Yeah. As a result of the outcome of the charges preferred against Martin Bryant in the Supreme Court of Tasmania, I write to advise you that I do not intend to resume the inquest that I opened on the 29th of April 1996, as I believe that it's not in the interest of the family, friends, witness, and again, traverses the factual situation in a public hearing, particularly when any findings that I make must not be inconsistent with the decision of the Supreme Court. Not that it has to fucking not be what the evidence shows, not some conspiracy of, I don't want to do it because the Supreme Court said that what I do might be different to what they do. No, he says that what he's written about the factual situation in a public hearing, particularly when any of my findings must not it will, but it must not be inconsistent with the decisions of the Supreme Court. I have today written to the Attorney General advising them of my decision. May I take this opportunity on behalf of the staff and my office to extend our condolences to your sad loss. That was it. That end of story. Right? End of fucking story. Let's go down because someone decided that wasn't good enough. So they wanted to get a bit more detail from the coroner. And the coroner was fucking more than happy. Actually, this comes direct from the Attorney General Minister of Justice, the Honorary Grey Groom. Dear Sirs, plural, coronal inquest of death. I refer to your letter on the 11th of April 1997, which was delayed in its delivery to this office because I was addressing to the Commonwealth Attorney General's office in Hobart. The coroner, Mr. Matson, has written to you advising you that he does not intend to continue with the inquest of death. In consideration whether I should accede to your request under Section 15 of the Coroners Act 1957, apply or authorise application to the Supreme Court seeking an order that the coroner hold an inquest, I must take into account the relative provisions of the Coroners Act, an issue which you have raised in your letter. Surprising that they didn't include their letter in this. Section 12 of the Act requires that a coroner conducting an inquest shall find, if the evidence allows so, who the deceased was and how and when the deceased came by his or her death. In this particular instance, the identity of the deceased is known, the timing of death is known, and the location of death is known. The cause of death is also known. Relying upon one of the most detailed police investigations in the state history, and Martin Bryant's plea of guilty is also known. You say in your letter that your client is concerned that there has been insufficient inquiry in some of the circumstances of death. Firstly, you refer to a policy of the Port Arthur Historical Site Management Authority into the occupation of health and safety in reference to policy X-B. Particular policy refers to the authority will ensure the health and safety and welfare of its staff, maintaining places under the work control of their safe conditions, providing and maintaining safety entrances and exits. You stated in the letter, and there's photos for all this sort of bullshit as well. I have a question for this is NCR. I have a question for the wannabe conspiracy theorists. Why can't they find out what happened to that dumbass who messed up the inquiry of Baby Azaria? Fucking perfect question. So there's photographs of this. Pretty much one of the questions that were raised in the conspiracy theories was they deliberately locked a door.
Nice.
That would prevent people escaping. It was deliberately tampered with. The door was tampered with, so no one could escape, and that's why 20 people died because they couldn't escape because of this door. That was one of the things they raised in this. It's all on his YouTube channel, and he covers that off in some bullshit detail as well. But I just want to give you that's the prelude for this part of the statement. You state in your letter that an exit door from the cafe was inoperable from the inside of the building. The police investigated into this matter and concluded that the door was locked for security reasons in order to prevent shoplifting or the removal of property from the souvenir shop and displays area near the door. At the sentencing hearing of the Director of Public Prosecutions, when stating the facts, said at the time that the door was locked and was unable to be opened on either internally or externally without the appropriate key. Oh, kind of like how a door works. In consideration of the application made on behalf of the Attorney General of the day to quash a conviction under Section 5.2 of the Coroners Act 1957, Justice Wright of the Supreme Court in re-inquest touching the death of Michael Bryan Satan, upon rep judgment number 22 of 1987 said at page 8 of his judgment that the Crown's criticism of the coroner's failure to make certain findings. I think that what the coroner has done in this case is to analyse the evidence according to the best of his ability, and having done so, he has reached into the position which he has been unable to make any conclusive findings one way or another in relative position of the two vehicles at the moment of collision. This has been unable to determine whether a deceased intoxicated was causation or not. No doubt he would have been entitled to make this position of findings in his assessment if the evidence had permitted him to do so. However, I do not think it is appropriate for critical of his failure to do so. In any event, finding upon such issues of civil neglect are, in my opinion, more appropriately made by the civil courts in the event of civil proceedings, inquest between the two drivers of a motor vehicles in own and their own personal representatives. I think the coroner's finding in the present case excludes those which are required by law, a coroner conducting an inquest into death inside their state, in this state. So in other words, in the letter that someone had sent them, in this letter that he's responding to, they quoted that the coroner, the current coroner that was involved in the Port Arthur massacre, allegedly made a mistake in a previous case to which he held an inquiry into, and this guy still doesn't think that this coroner is up to par, despite the fact that the Attorney General of the state has gone, well, no, he was in his right to make whatever fucking decision he makes based on the evidence. That's why he's the coroner. So he's got my support. There's nothing there stating that the coroner is in any way, shape or form not competent to do the job, because if that was the case, he wouldn't be the coroner. You know what I mean? And it's not just one guy. It's not like they just send one guy with a fucking clipboard and a backpack and he has to make a decision. There's a fucking team of people that do this. Right? One guy is in charge, sure. Right? One guy is declared the coroner, but he's also got the people that work for him, which are investigators, forensic investigators, anything to do with forensics, this motherfucker's on. Whilst His Honour was there dealing with an application under Section 12.2, useful guidance can be obtained from His Honour's comments. The Safety Policy and the Management Authority established to provide policy to provide and maintain safe entrances and exits into the place of work under the control of the authority. There were no other doorways in the external walls of the Broad Arrow Cafe on that day. They were in a safe... there were other doorways. There you go. So there were other doorways in the external walls of the Broadway Cafe on that day, they were safe and safe and operable condition. I do not understand the policy document to require all external doorways at a site be kept open. If that was the case, we could all walk into a bank. Just say is no. All right. According to Fuck Knuckle No Friends, every business should just have their doors unlocked because, you know, it's pesky otherwise. There's all that standing around waiting for it to open. The police investigation into this matter has disclosed that the door was locked and the reason for it being locked on that day. You also raised your client's concern about an estimated time during which Martin Bryant was present in the Broad Arrow Cafe. You referred a statement at Bryant's sentencing hearing that he was present at the cafe for 90 seconds, where your client believes the time spent was approximately 5.5 minutes. You say that your client bases his belief upon recollection of what he did during the period Bryant was in the cafe and the time the task that he performed would have taken, and additionally by your client's understanding that whilst in the cafe, Bryant was seen by people walking around the building a second time finishing off his victims. Right, well that's that's going to be a hard one to prove. Let's fucking, why don't you answer that one, Mr. Honourable fucking Attorney General? Hey, what's your answer for that? At the time of the sentencing, at the sentencing hearing, the director of prosecution told the court it is hard to express any definite in any, I think that's meant to be terms, the precise period of time that Brian was in the cafe. But I would put it to the court that he was in there for approximately 1.5 minutes, at the outside for 2 minutes, whilst he was still firing his gun. See page 117 of the court transcript. You will see that what was provided to the court was an estimated time during Brian was firing his gun. The director of prosecutions provided the count of what occurred, which included Brian's movements through the cafe, returning to the centre of the cafe, going back to the gift shop area, and then departing through the front doors, which he had previously entered. You have correctly described the question of time estimates subsidiarily issue, but I do not see any reason for requiring an inquest into the attempt to provide a more accurate estimate of time Brian either spent in the cafe or in the cafe firing his gun. I do not quite understand. I fucking love it when I read that in the letter. I do not quite understand. In other words, are you fucking kidding me, bro? That's government talk for motherfucker what? In fact, I believe that this is government term for what in the actual fuck are you on about? All right. Oh, g'day, Nim. How are you? I do not quite understand the basis upon which you are putting your client's concern in the final paragraphs of page 1 of your letter. You describe your client's concern at the fact that whilst known to the police, Martin Bryan was able to drive freely without a valid driver's license and have in his possession numerous firearms without a license for the same. If you are suggesting that the police either knew or should have suspected Bryan was a regular driver on the motor vehicle without a license to do so, and had also in his possession numerous firearms without a license for the same, then I would ask that you provide me with evidence upon which your client is basing that concern. And I believe it's N-word say what? Right? I believe that's the other correct term for this. However, I assume that you are not suggesting that the police, apart from traffic infringement notices, knew that Bryan was a regular driver with a motor vehicle. The evidence in this case clearly indicates that Bryan did not have a driver's license and that he drove to Port Arthur on that day in a motor vehicle. Whilst he did not possess a license authorising him to do so, there are many attempts through traffic checks, random checks, and other police surveillance to ensure compliance with the traffic laws of their state. And it was stated at sentencing hearing that Bryan would often drive early in the morning to avoid detection of his unlicensed driving activities. Once again, I do not see that a coronial inquest will shed further light on this particular matter. See, I have a reference to the Supreme Court decisions in regards to an inquest touching death of Michael Bryan Supar. You raised, on behalf of your client, that Bryan, in his possession, numerous firearms without a license for the same. Although the police investigated into this matter, it has been conducted, and only the admissible evidence establishing the sale and circumstances of the firearm, to which Bryant, his own statement to police. On the firearms in Bryant's possession on the 28th of April 1996, Bryant explained his ownership for them as follows. The Colt AR-15 purchased approximately 1 month prior from Guns and Ammo, which was a magazine, if I remember correctly. The Daewoo semi-automatic shotgun purchased from Guns and Ammo, but not used on the day. The FM semi-automatic military-style rifle denied ownership of this weapon. This, of course, is a matter of concern that a person such as Brian was able to obtain possession of a firearm of this type. A coronal inquest cannot be required, see Section 2 or Section 12, to examine the aspect of your client's concern, because that's not what he does. He's fucking, that's not what the coronal inquest is for. The plain fact of the matter is that Brian broke the law, both driving a motor vehicle without a license and possessing firearms without a license. This was not disputed in the court hearings, but only evidence which would tend to be established. The circumstances in which Brian purchased his firearms comes from Brian himself. I do not accept the matter to which you have raised in your letter for the conduction of a coronal inquest. I regret that I cannot exceed your request. I do not make this decision lightly, nor do I make it solely out of concern to minimise distress and grief, not only to your client, but to the victims of Martin Bryan's criminal conduct. There are clear statutory and jurisdictional confirms reasons for conducting a coronal inquest. I have considered in these reasons in determining that it is inappropriate to require an inquest, further inquiry into the death, and then they've blanked it out. The legal obligation upon the coroner do not exceed the matters to which you have raised in this letter. The Tasmanian Police Port Arthur Task Force conducted a very detailed and thorough investigation into Martin Bryan's criminal conduct on the 28th of April 1996. I'm quite confident that the office in charge of the investigation would provide you with every opportunity to clarify matters of your concern to your client, such as those you raised in your letter to me. Whilst this may be outside the scope of a coronal inquest, I feel quite confident that the information gathered by the police is relevant to the issues that can be discussed with them. You please contact me if there's any aspect of this tragic incident that still is concerned to your client. And then there's, oh, look at that, a signature. Who would have thought? Who would have thought, huh? That's what a signature on an official form looks like. Huh. Geez, if only they applied that fucking knowledge to a witness statement that you fucking altered, then, you know, we probably wouldn't be in this mess. So this is evidence that this knucklefuck from the WASP files is trying to spew, despite the fact that he's contradicted all of his claims inside his very own Dropbox. There's even, there was a letter. Yeah, what's this one? Oh, this is from Parliament House. In response to your letter of the 2nd, probably 22nd of September, I'm sorry to learn that your wife has been unwell. I agree entirely that we should have a royal commission into the events of Port Arthur that would expose the truth of the matters and perhaps help make sure that such a massacre never occurs again. Yeah, okay, so that guy just agrees with you that there should be a royal inquest, and I'm pretty sure there was. I'm pretty sure that was something that happened. All right, let's have a look. There's fucking Port Arthur Massacre Royal Commission. No, there was no Royal Commission in the 1996 massacre. Instead, the Australian and Tasmanian governments prioritised immediate, urgent legislation following the National Firearms Agreement to restrict semi-automatic pump acts, which is exactly what a Royal Commission would have come to the end agreement of. That's all they do. They just look at facts and give advice. The government preempted what they were going to come out with and just fucking did it. What else have we got here? Wow. Fucking pictures and graphs. Good job. Death notices, list of victims, lucky escapes. The AR-15. Photos of his weapons, morgue truck. Now, this is an interesting. He does bring up about this in one of his videos about the coroner's truck that they brought into place. All right, and they were talking about prior to. Can I zoom in on this one? I don't know if I can. Oh yeah, there's zoom. Right, prior to leaving Tehran, the state forensic pathologist and mortuary ambulance conductor arrived to an agreement that was made to have them on all aspects concerned of their duties. Additional 2 officers have been previously mentioned to make up the field of team. Okay, so also present was a Chevrolet truck. And its chassis, Mr. Chaplin had attached a refrigerated converted compartment capable of storing 16 bodies. This vehicle had, in the past, had been regarded to many as an expensive abbreviation that would never have to be used. Well, then it was used. It's a mortuary truck. It's not a fucking meat wagon. It's not a pickup service. It's for these type of events. At that stage, there had been a handful of mass shootings in New South Wales and Victoria and other states of Australia. Tasmania went, well, if we're ever in that situation, maybe we need to have one of these trucks as well. So they did. It was built especially for the massacre to control access to the bodies from the broad FOKFA. So again, you started doctoring shit, man. Stop doctoring stuff and we'll fucking probably take you somewhat, but no. Right? You're all over the shop, bro. You really are just all over the shop. None of your statements can be proven factual. Not one. Not one of the things that you have claimed is factual. Right? It's all here. All of the information that you are claiming is hidden away for the next 75 years, you somehow have access to, like the rest of the fucking world. If this was meant to be locked away for 75 years that you claim, then why do we have all the evidence? Like, why is all the evidence here? Everything from forensic reports, court transcripts, what the judge said, fucking photos of everyone, photos of the car, photos of the shooting, newspaper clippings, fucking photos of the firearms, you know, photos of what took place that day. For some reason, Ray Martin, you know, like the police liaison fucking report is here. You've got detailed mapping of bodies and so forth. And the sketch, this is just, yeah, this is one of the sketches of all the bodies where they were all found, etc., which kind of looks like the one that Millet drew, doesn't it? Oh, not Millet, Bryant. Keep getting those two confused. Kind of looks almost identical to the one that he wrote. But anyway, you wanted us to believe your bullshit. But then you go on the internet and give us all the tools we need to debunk your bullshit. It's all there. All of it. All because you've cherry-picked certain catchphrases that sells whatever bullshit you're trying to sell doesn't change the facts. And everyone that's been watching this stream watched last night where we got a very well-educated, what's the word I'm thinking of? Re-education of what happened on that day. Right? We heard from witnesses. We saw it with our own eyes. We heard it with our own ears. We even then watched Ivan Milat. Fucking hell, get those two confused. We then even saw Martin Bryant confess to the crime. So I don't know what your game is apart from let's try and rage bait some people. And that's pretty much what you're doing. You want to get views. I don't blame you. If you want to get views, great. Go for it, right? YouTube can be a wonderful place for people to make some money and do what they need to do. But my friend, I think you fucking hit a wall with your bullshit. Maybe, I don't know, put a bikini on and bounce up and down on a beach ball and go on TikTok. Try and do a dance craze. Try and lip sync to an old 80s song. There's plenty of things you could do. I don't know. Fucking go to a wishing well, chuck in $1 and just make a wish for cash. Whatever it takes for you to stop doing this fucking horse shit. Because I tell you who it's not bullshit to, the people on the day. Yeah, you're right. Ivan Milat never did confess on record. But this is what I'm getting at, right? This is, again, gloves off, old school Testament captain. Let me tell you the 411 on this situation, old mate, right? Paulie, pull me cock, listen to me and listen to me carefully. You listening? Right? First off, there's nothing that a good throat punch can't fix. So feel free to give me a call and I'll fix whatever the fuck it is that's malfunctioning in your brain. Second of all, if you want to get clicks for rage bait, go do something more important with your life. Something that's not going to impact the victims' families of that day. Do that. We all saw what happened to Alex Jones with the Sandy Hook bullshit. Right? He ran his mouth. It absolutely destroyed the families of the young people that were destroyed that day, and it cost him everything he owned. That is in your future. Because I guarantee you, as long as there is air in my breath, the more bullshit, as long as there is air in my lungs, the more bullshit that you spew out of the fucking hate-mongering bullshit that is your fucking compact cock-washing machine, I will dead set go against you. I will. Not only that, I will make it publicly known, as I have here today, that you are fucking feeding the flames of hatred in this country, and instead of fucking standing amongst the victims' families, you choose to take the side of conspiracy. And that can never be tolerated. If you had a shred of credibility and evidence, I would listen to you, because I'm all about evidence. But you don't. The only thing you have is a hard-on for dead farm animals and a pocket full of candy wrappers. That's the end of the list. That is all you own. Oh, and one black suit, right? To which you will not only be born, married and buried in, but you're going to be teased and mocked for. You look like that you were the fucking financial advisor for Chili de Castro here on fucking YouTube. But unlike Chili, you have zero friends. At least Chili pays people to like him. So let this be a lesson to you, fuckface. The invitation's open. You come here on this show and you tell me why you believe that this shit is real. Just give me one actual reason that cannot be factually proven wrong, and I'll listen to you. But until you can do that, shut your big fucking face, shut your fucking cake hole, shut your anus, and stop fucking dead farm animals. These are real things that you do. You know how I know that you fuck dead animals? Because a friend of a friend told me. I read it on a witness statement that I kind of typed up myself and put Terry's name under. That's how I know. I read Terry's report. Terry's report's never been wrong, ever. Terry wrote me a very strongly worded letter. He then sent it to the Attorney General of Make a Shit, and they fucking agreed that you fuck dead farm animals. They told us. A big report came out. Yeah, Channel 7 won't tell you because those videos have been blocked on YouTube. You won't be able to watch any videos of you fucking farm animals because YouTube has got a big conspiracy against me and they don't want the world to know that you fuck dead farm animals. They don't want the world to know, and they're doing their best to censor it. In fact, you have to be 78 years of age to even get an identification, to even look at the drop box of information of you fucking dead animals to fucking prove my point. I just wish I could show that one photo. I just wish, but I have a ton of photos. I have a heap of photos of your fucking dead animals. Heaps of them, hundreds of them, millions of them to be precise. But you're not going to believe me. I'm not allowed to show them for 75 more years. I wish I could, but my hands are tied. Oh, Talho down in Tasmania have made it very, very clear that I'm not allowed to show anyone photos of you fucking a farm animal, a dead one to be precise, for the next 75 years. So brave. If you're still listening, my 11-year-old colleague, mate, when you're fucking 86, you get to see the photos, right? You're the only one young enough that will be alive when those photos are allowed to be released of Paul, whatever his fucking name is, fucking a dead farm animal. But until that day comes, we can only use our imaginations. And I'll tell you what, it's not a good look. What do you reckon? Did I go too far, or should I take it a little bit more? Right? Wait, Don't let him shut his arsehole yet. There's still a wombat up there, says Beauty. All right, a dingo ate a baby and a dingo shat out whatever the bullshit jizz-filled fucking rage bait crap that he's spewing. So, bump it up. Pew, pew.
Mother Energy Drink.
Joke of the day. Mother! So there you have it, folks. There is the look. We had a good look in a serious manner about what took place on that tragic day, the 28th of April, 1996. We then not even scratched the surface. Because it's not just Paul fucking McCock, Paul Mulder, or whatever your fucking real name is, that is claiming this bullshit. Have a look at his YouTube channel. You will see the comments, and it will make you sick. What these fuckwits are failing to remember is 35 innocent people lost their lives that day. 35. 35 families that have been touched by this Port Arthur massacre. We heard a story about a mother and her 3-year-old child in her arms have her life snubbed out. And then minutes later, her only surviving daughter facing the same. That is a father that is standing there 30 years ago wondering what the fuck happened. And then you overzealous pizza chef, are running your fucking mouth, dragging up wounds, making it known that you think because someone told you that it didn't happen. Go fuck yourself. I'm going to drop the captain act for a minute. I'm going to talk to you, Josh to Paul. Go fuck yourself, you dumb, dirty cunt. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is it for this evening. Have you had a bit of fun? I hope you had a little bit of fun. Hopefully, we've managed to shine a bit of light on what took place that day and the dangers of people that just run their mouth because they get a platform. But thank you so very much for joining me. I want to thank Kimatron. Kimatron really brought this to light earlier this week. And I'm glad that she did, because I feel very fucking passionate about what we've come across today. So I really do appreciate you being part of it. Big thank you to Kimatron. Round of applause for Kimatron. I can't thank her enough for that. But again, a big thank you to each and every one of you. I really do appreciate you being here with me. I appreciate you letting me run in my fucking cake hole for as long as I have. Thank you so very, very much. Back to our normal scheduled programming as the week progresses. If you have a subject that you want me to cover with NCR, let's get him back on here and we can find out more about conspiracies and fucking paranormal investigations, the whole works and jerks. Well, maybe we'll find other fucking dead animal farm fuckers. Who knows? Everything is possible in this place. But until next time, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you keep me fully erect. And as always, fucking hooroo.
Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do?